morning, students. Once again, a very warm welcome to the English world of Aradhya. Myself, Rashminsir, imparting knowledge of English to the students of 9 to 12 standard in English medium. Students, in my previous two videos, we have already taken your 6th lesson from your main book, Hornbill. The title of the lesson is The Browning Version, written by Terence Rattigan. Okay, in this particular lesson, we know it is a play. It is in dialogue form. There are only two characters, main characters, those who have appeared on the stage so far. But from their talks, we come to know much more about the third character of the play, and that is Mr. Crocker Harris. He is a middle-aged person. He is going to retire. Okay, and what he doesn't appear on the in the play only. Oh, but then also many more qualities or many more characteristics we come to know through this talk only between Tableau and Mr. Frank. Mr. Frank is a young teacher. He may be a new teacher in the school, and he is a bit jealous about the growing popularity of Mr. Crocker Harris because students are so much afraid of him. And in the last video only we came to know that he makes it clear when Frank comes to know about the effect that he has on the students, he directly asks Tableau, what does it? Why you people are so much afraid of him? Then Tableau says that no, but just he is not a sadist. Then also he has got that sort of impression that all the children are afraid of him. Then Frank asks him, is he a very hard teacher? Does he beat you guys? He says no, he is not a sadist. Sadist means a person who enjoys after giving pain to others. He says that there are one or two teachers like that, but Mr. Crocker Harris is not like that. And yet he has got that hold on the students. The students are very much afraid of him in his presence. Okay, all those things, students, we had discussed. We had also discussed that what Tableau would do after clearing his fifth form. Okay, he straightforward told Mr. Frank that he is going to choose science. Why? Because he is very much interested. And second reason he gave that in option of science they have literature. So in literature they have to study the plays like Agamemnon. But he says that that plot is very good. There are in the plot of the play you see there is one woman murdering her husband, and you see there are such incidents. But he doesn't like the way of teaching because there are so many Greek words strung together, and if the children don't learn them, or if the children get them right, the teacher will ask them to write 50 times. And because of that only, he doesn't go for that. Otherwise, play is not a bad one. Okay? So, two reasons he gives why he is interested in science and why he is going to take science. Okay? And then we also come to know once Mr. Frank only admits that he envies the effect Mr. Crocker Harris has on the other students. Understood? And then it is also clear when he asked Tableau, what about your result? Mr. Crocker Harris must have told you. Then Tableau replies that no, I asked him straightforward and he answered me. But when he is relating that thing, he just imitates Mr. Crocker Harris. And that Mr. Frank enjoys. So Mr. Frank again asks him to imitate. And Tableau does it again. Okay, students, and all those things we have discussed. And now Tableau gives his own opinion that from inside he is very much shriveled up like a nut. Okay, he has become very dry and wrinkled. He doesn't seem to have any feeling. He is such a sort of person who doesn't like being liked. Okay, so all those things we come to know about Mr. Crocker Harris. Now we will see what happens after that. Okay, Frank, and I don't know any boy who doesn't use that for his own purposes. Okay, Tableau, well, it's natural, sir, but not with the croc. Frank, Mr. Crocker Harris. Okay, because Tableau is a student only and he calls Mr. Crocker Harris as croc. So that's why here Frank corrects him. He is after all your sir. Don't call him that way, croc. You say Mr. Crocker Harris. Okay. Tableau, Mr. Crocker Harris. The funny thing is that in spite of everything, I do rather like him. So see, here, he is having that much effect on the students that all the students are afraid of him. And then also Tableau says that he may be not very good with the students. He doesn't tell them the marks in advance. Okay, he is very strict with the students. He always follows the rules and regulations. And in spite of all these, he says that I like Mr. Crocker Harris. Okay, so that will again feel some sort of jealousy in Mr. Frank. Okay, I can't help it. Means it is natural. Naturally, I like him, students. And sometimes I think he sees it, and that seems to shrivel him up even more. And when he comes to know that we like him, he even becomes harder. Okay, so that is the trait of Mr. Crocker Harris. Frank, I'm sure you are exaggerating. Now, Frank doesn't like such words about Mr. Crocker Harris. Okay, because those are the words praising Mr. Crocker Harris. So, Frank doesn't like those words. Frank feels naturally jealous. And that's why he says that you are exaggerating. Exaggerating यानी कुछ बड़ा चढ़ा के उनके बारे में बोल रहे हो यार. इतने अच्छे भी वो नहीं है. That's what he wants to say. Bro, Tableau, no sir, I am not. In form the other day, he made one of his classical jokes. Of course, nobody laughed because nobody understood it. Understood? Myself included. Understood? So here he narrates one more incident when Mr. Crocker Harris just told a joke to the students. And when the joke got over, nobody laughed. Even Tableau was there. So he also did not laugh. That's why he said that, including myself. But still, I knew he had meant it as funny. So I laughed. So first, when Mr. Crocker Harris ended his joke, nobody laughed. Tableau also did not laugh. But later on, after a few minutes or after a few seconds, Tableau laughed. Why? He had that feeling कि इन्होंने जो कहा है, so there must be something funny. Meaning we will understand later on. Let me laugh now. And when he laughed, Mr. Crocker Harris took it in the other way. Let's see what happens. How Mr. Crocker Harris took it. Out of ordinary common politeness and feeling a bit of sorry for him for having made a poor joke. So here the reason is given. Why he laughed. So out of common politeness. कि ऐसे कोई जोक बोले तो चलो हंसो थोड़ा. So they would also like that. People enjoyed what I said. Okay, and also because of feeling sorry that nobody laughed, sir, you told a joke and nobody laughed. So you are not that good in telling jokes also to the students, or your jokes the students cannot understand. So because of that feeling of sorry also, he laughed. Okay, that he made a poor joke. Now I can't remember what the joke was, but suppose I make it. Now you laugh, sir. Frank laughs. Understood? So that's why he gives the reason why he laughed. Okay. Tableau. In a gentle, throaty voice. Tableau. So he says that now I'll make you laugh. Means now I will just imitate him. After the joke, what did he say? When I laughed, what did he say? That will I will tell you now. Tableau. In a gentle, throaty voice. Tableau, you laughed at my little joke, I noticed. I must confess that I am pleased at the advance your Latin has made, since you so readily have understood what the rest of the form did not. Perhaps now you would be good enough to explain it to them, so that they too can share your pleasure. Understood? Now Tableau narrates what Mr. Crocker Harris told after Tableau laughed. He says that I am happy that you understood the joke and you laughed. It means you are now able to understand Latin and your Latin has improved. Understood? So now you just explain the joke to the other class so they can also enjoy. They can also share your pleasure. How you laughed, they can also laugh. Understood? So that was the reaction of Mr. Crocker Harris. And Tableau narrated by imitating him. Okay? After that, what happened? The door upright is pushed open and Millie Crocker Harris enters. Now we come across the third character. In a way, it is a fourth character because Crocker Harris does not appear only. So on the screen, on the stage, this is the third character who comes. That is Millie Harris. And who is she? She is the wife of Mr. Crocker Harris. Okay. So the on the right is post open and Millie Crocker Harris enters. She is a thin woman in her late 30s, rather more smartly dressed than the general run of the schoolmaster's wives. Okay, students. So here you see normally the school teacher's wife won't be so fashionable, but here it is said that Millie Crocker, she is in her 30s and Crocker Harris is going to retire. So Crocker Harris's age must be 58. 58 is the retirement age student. So you see there is a vast difference between their age. Okay. And that's why here it is said that Millie Crocker is smartly dressed. Okay. Then the general run of the schoolmaster's wives. Schoolmaster's wives won't be so nicely dressed. Okay. So fashionable. She is wearing a cape. Cape means students a short sleeveless cloak and carries a shopping basket. She closes the door and then stands by the screen watching Theplo and Frank. Okay, it is a few seconds before they notice her. So those people are just talking. Millie Crocker Harris has already entered and those people don't know at all. They are just talking only. Before they notice Millie Crocker Harris, they are just talking only and they are talking about her husband only. So that's where they get confused later on. Okay. Frank, come along. Theplo, move slowly above the desk. Do not be so selfish as to keep a good joke to yourself. Tell the others. He breaks off. इतना कह के Frank चुप हो जाता है. Means he directly draws the attention of Theplo to Millie Crocker Harris. Maybe Theplo is standing this way. Millie Crocker comes from behind and Mr. Frank could see her. So Mr. Frank only just stops in between and tells all this so that Theplo can become cautious. Okay. Suddenly noticing Millie. Oh Lord. Okay. Frank turns quickly and seems infinitely relieved at seeing Millie. Okay. So here you see all of them notice, both of them notice the presence of Millie Crocker Harris. Frank. Oh, hello, Millie. Without expression. Hello. She comes down to the sideboard and puts her basket on it. Theplo. Moving up to left of Frank, whispering frantically. Frantically means doing very quickly. Do you think she heard? Theplo is asking Mr. Frank. हम जो बातें कर रहे हैं आपको लगता है वो उन्होंने सुना होगा because we were talking about her husband only. Frank shakes his head comfortably. Millie takes off her cape and hangs it on the hall stand. I think she did. She was standing there quite a time. मुझे लगता है शायद सुना होगा क्योंकि हमने नोटिस किया उसके पहले ही वो अंदर आई थी. Okay. Theplo, if she did and she tells him, there goes my remote. That is the natural fear. अगर उन्होंने सुना होगा और अगर वो अपने हस्बैंड को बताती है कि ये लड़का आपके बारे में ऐसे बात कर रहा था तो if I have passed he will fail me. Okay, that is the natural fear in the mind of the students. Okay. Frank, nonsense. He crosses to the fireplace. Millie takes the basket from the sideboard, moves above the table and puts the basket on it. Okay, Millie to Theplo. Waiting for my husband? Now Millie only starts talking to Theplo and asking him directly, are you waiting for my husband? So you are waiting for my husband? Okay, Theplo. Moving down left of the table, yes. Millie, he is at the bursar's and might be there quite a time. If I were you, I would go. Okay, Millie says that he is at bursar's shop. So he would be there for some times. If I am at your place, I would leave. I would not wait for him. Later on, there are these people who can give the proof that I was here. Understood? So Millie gives him that suggestion. Theplo, doubtfully. He said most particularly I was to come. Okay? Theplo बोलते नहीं उन्होंने मुझे एकदम particularly बताया था कि मैं आने ही वाला हूँ. That's why I cannot leave. Okay? So Millie, well, why don't you run away for a quarter of an hour and come back? Understood? Means why don't you go out for 15 minutes and then come back? She unpacks some things from the basket. From the basket she takes out certain things. Theplo, supposing he gets here before me. आप बोलते हो मैं जाऊँ, मैं जाके आऊँ, उसके पहले ही वो आ जाए तो, okay? Then he will just blame me. Millie, smiling, I'll take the blame. Why should you be worried? I will take the blame.
If he comes before you come, then I'll take the blame. She takes a prescription out of the basket. I tell you what, you can do a job for him. तुम उनका ही एक काम करो, चलो तुम्हें बाहर जाना है, बाहर जाके आओ, उनका ही एक काम करो, जब वापस आओ तो बोल देना कि आपके ही काम से गया था. Now what was that work? Take this prescription to the chemist and get it made up. Yani Millie is giving one prescription. According to the prescription, the chemist will make the medicine. Okay, chemists will make the tablets or the powder according to that prescription. So in the olden days, like those students you see, the medicines were available. Okay, so that's why she says that you take this prescription to the chemist and he will make the tablets or the medicine out of it. Okay, according to it, sorry. Tableau, all right, Mr. Crocker Harris, Mrs. Crocker Harris. He crosses towards the door upright. And students, with that, we come to the end of this particular lesson. Okay, I think you have understood. Finally, Tableau is able to go. And who helps him to go? Mrs. Crocker Harris only, yani Mrs. Millie Crocker Harris. Okay, so with that, we come to the end of this lesson. In the end, on the screen, there are only two people left, Frank and Mrs. Crocker Harris. Okay, now let's look at some of the questions of this particular lesson. Comment on the attitude shown by Tableau towards Crocker Harris. So Tableau says so many things about Crocker Harris, but from his narration it is clear that he likes Mr. Crocker Harris. He only accepts. Okay, according to Tableau, he is the one who obeys the school's rules and regulations, and that's why he doesn't give the result in advance. He doesn't even tell anyone in advance. Okay, because he knows that the school results should be announced by the headmaster on the last day. So other teachers may be telling the students the result well in advance, but Mr. Crocker Harris doesn't. He is very much duty bound. Okay, he follows the rules and regulations quite strictly. Even on the last day, he calls Tableau for extra work. So that shows his devotion towards his work. Okay. Then we also come to know that he is not a sadist, but then also he has got some effect on the students, that students are very much afraid of him. Okay, we also come to know students that he is poor in cracking jokes because no student can understand his joke. Okay, and Tableau feels a bit of sorry also for him for not cracking a good joke. Okay, students, we also come to know about Crocker Harris, that he doesn't bother about what the others would say. When he only follows the rules, he doesn't bother what other teachers would say about him. But he is surely following his duty. And what else? Even though it is the last day for him, he is going to retire. Then also he shows his devotion towards his duty. Okay, so all those things are there. He is the person who doesn't like to be liked by the other guys. Understood? And students, he likes when the people hate him. That is one more characteristics of him. So that's why he has just created his impression that he is a very strict teacher. Okay, he doesn't beat any boy. Then also children are quite afraid of him. He doesn't tell the result to the students well in advance. He is very poor in cracking jokes. So all these points you are supposed to write in this particular question. Okay. Does Frank seem to encourage Tableau's comment on Crocker Harris? Yes. So here, yes, why? Because Mr. Frank is naturally feeling jealous of the popularity Crocker Harris has. Okay. He sometimes wonders how, without beating the children, he has such an effect that all the students are afraid of him. And that's why when Tableau narrated certain things, I asked him about my result and what he said, and Tableau just imitates Mr. Crocker Harris. I have given you nothing more, nothing less, not less. I have given you what you deserve. So these things, these particular words of Crocker Harris are spoken in his style only by Tableau. That time Frank again encourages him, appeals him to repeat it. And Tableau again repeats those things, those words. Okay, so from there we can make out that Mr. Frank definitely encourages Tableau. Okay, two comments about Crocker Harris. Okay. Then what do you gather about Crocker Harris from the play? So all those characteristics that I talked about, you can write in that. So here students, you'll have to write two more questions, okay, that I feel may be asked. One I already discussed in the second video also, and this video also. Why does Taplow plan to take up science? So those two reasons you will have to write when Mr. Frank asks him, okay, suppose if you clear your form, what will you do? Then he says that I will take science. And giving the reason, he says that I will take science because I am extremely interested in science. And second thing, he says that that book Agamemnon, okay, which is there in literature, okay, he doesn't dislike that book because that book has a very good plot, okay, a wife murdering his her husband, and all such incidents which are very interesting. But it doesn't like the way of teaching, the way it is taught, because there are so many Greek words strung together, and if the children get them wrong, then the teacher will ask them to write 50 times. So that's why he prefers to take science. Once he is interested very much in science, and if he takes literature, then these are the problems, and that's why he prefers to take science. Okay, students. So here all these students' questions might come. It is a very short play, but then also the questions will be asked around this only. Okay, questions will be asked about their talks about Mr. Crocker Harris's nature. Okay, what are his characteristics? What do you gather about Mr. Crocker Harris? Why Taplow prefers to take science? How can you say that Frank feels jealousy for Crocker Harris? So once he also accepts that he envies the effect Crocker Harris has on the other students. Okay, and he talks much about Crocker Harris to Taplow. And when Taplow says that I really like, in spite of all his these faults or whatever it is, I like him. So that's where also Frank doesn't like it. So we can say that one more question can be asked about Mr. Frank also. How can you say that Mr. Frank dislikes Crocker Harris? Understood? So he encourages Taplow also to repeat the words in his style only, in Crocker Harris's style. So all those things, students, you can write in those answers. I think they are quite easily you can write. Okay, kindly prepare them for your exams. With this, we come to the end of this wonderful chapter. Next time when we meet, we will take up another poem. Okay, so till that time, stay fit, stay fine, have a good day. God bless you. Thank you.